The airport terminal hummed with the usual chaos, but nothing prepared me for the storm that was Karen and her sister, Darlene. Their voices sliced through the crowd like a chainsaw through butter, demanding attention, respect, and apparently first-class seat. I'd been dreaming of this trip for months. After years of scraping by, I'd saved enough for a first-class ticket to Paris, a reward for landing my dream job as a graphic designer. The boarding pass felt like a golden ticket in my hand, crisp and heavy with promise. I was at the gate, sipping overpriced coffee, when Karen's shadow loomed over me. She was a mountain of a woman, her floral blouse straining at the seams, her face twisted in a permanent scowl that screamed, "I'm better than you." Her sister, Darlene, stood beside her, a carbon copy with an extra layer of entitlement smeared across her smirk. "You don't belong in first class," Karen spat, her voice loud enough to turn heads. "That seat's for people who actually deserve it." She jabbed a manicured finger at my boarding pass, her gold bracelets jangling like warning bells. Darlene nodded, her arms crossed so tightly her elbows looked ready to pop. "Hand it over, sweetheart," she added, her tone dripping with mock sweetness. "You're in our spot." I blinked, stunned. My seat. I triple-checked the boarding pass, paid for it with my own money, and even confirmed it at check-in. "Excuse me," I said, keeping my voice steady despite the heat creeping up my neck. "This is my seat. I paid for it." Karen's laugh was a guttural bark, drawing more eyes. "Paid for it? Honey, you probably scammed your way into it. Look at you." Her gaze raked over my worn sneakers and hoodie, as if my appearance disqualified me from luxury. Darlene leaned in, her breath reeking of stale peppermint gum. "We're HOA presidents. We fly first class every year. You're just nobody." The word nobody hit like a slap. I'm not proud of it, but part of me wanted to shrink, to hand over the pass and slink back to economy. But then I thought of the late nights, the endless freelance gigs, the sacrifices to afford this one moment of indulgence. No way was I letting these two bullies steal it. "Ma'am," I said, standing up, my voice louder now, "this is my seat. If you have a problem, talk to the airline." Karen's face turned beet red, her jowls quivering. "How dare you?" she shrieked, stepping so close I could smell her overpowering perfume. "Do you know who I am? I'll have you banned from this airline." Darlene chimed in, her voice a screeching echo. "You're nothing. You don't deserve to sit with us." By now, a small crowd had gathered, phones discreetly recording. A young airline staff member, barely out of his teens, approached cautiously. "Ladies, please," he said, his voice trembling. "Can I see your boarding passes?" Karen shoved her pass in his face, nearly knocking his glasses off. "We're first class, and this girl stole our seats," she lied, her voice a theatrical wail. Darlene nodded vigorously, clutching her oversized purse like a weapon. I handed over my pass, calm but firm. "This is mine. Check it." The staff member scanned the passes, his brow furrowing. "Ma'am," he said to Karen, "your tickets are for economy. This passenger has a valid first-class ticket." The silence was glorious for about 2 seconds before Karen exploded. "Economy," she roared, snatching her pass back. "This is outrageous. I demand to speak to your manager." Darlene joined in, slamming her fist on the counter. "We're not sitting with the riffraff. Upgrade us now." I couldn't help it. I laughed. It was a small, involuntary chuckle, but it was enough to send Karen over the edge. She wheeled on me, her finger inches from my face. "You think this is funny? I'll have you arrested for theft." "Theft?" I shot back, my patience gone. "You're the one trying to steal my seat." That's when things got physical. Karen lunged for my boarding pass, her meaty hand swiping at my bag. I yanked it back, stumbling into a nearby chair. Darlene grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "Give it up, you little brat," she hissed. The crowd gasped. A woman with a toddler clutched her child closer. An older man muttered, "Here we go again." And then, like a gift from the heavens, a security officer appeared, his boots thudding against the polished floor. "Step back, now," he ordered, his voice low but commanding. Karen didn't step back. Instead, she turned her wrath on him. "Arrest her," she screamed, pointing at me. She's causing a scene. Darlene nodded, her face a mask of righteous indignation. She assaulted us. The officer raised an eyebrow, glancing at the crowd, then at me, still clutching my bag. "Ma'am," he said to me, "can you explain what happened?" I told him everything calmly, clearly, with half the terminal as my witnesses. Phones were still out, capturing every word. The officer turned to Karen and Darlene, his expression hardening. "You too, follow me. We need to discuss this further." Karen's jaw dropped. "Us? You're arresting us? Do you know who we are?" "I know exactly who you are," the officer said, his tone ice cold. "You're the ones causing a disturbance. Let's go." Darlene tried to bolt, but another officer appeared, blocking her path. The crowd parted as the sisters were escorted away, Karen's protests echoing down the terminal. "This is an outrage. We're important people. You'll hear from our lawyer." As they disappeared around the corner, the crowd erupted in murmurs. A woman next to me patted my shoulder. "Good for you. Standing up to those Karens," she said. I smiled, but my hands were still shaking. Boarding began shortly after, and I sank into my first-class seat, the leather cool against my skin. The flight attendant offered me a glass of champagne, her smile sympathetic. "Rough day?" she asked. "You have no idea," I replied, taking a sip. But the story didn't end there. At the gate in Paris, I overheard two passengers talking about a viral video Karen and Darlene's meltdown, now trending on X with the hashtag #KarenSistersTakedown. Clips showed their tantrum, their lies, and their glorious escort out of the terminal in handcuffs. Turns out, Karen had a history of fraud complaints with the airline, and Darlene had an outstanding warrant for unpaid fines. Karma didn't just knock, it kicked the door down. As I stepped into the Parisian sunlight, my phone buzzed with notifications. Friends back home were texting me links to the video, calling me a hero. I didn't feel like one, just a tired woman who'd fought for what was hers. But there was something satisfying about knowing the world had seen the Karen sisters for who they were. Bullies who thought they could steamroll anyone in their path. They demanded my seat, screamed I didn't deserve it, and ended up with nothing but a police escort and a viral legacy of shame. I'd earned my moment of luxury, and no one, not even the loudest, most entitled HOA presidents, could take that away. The world keeps spinning, and people like Karen and Darlene will always think they're above it all. But sometimes, just sometimes, the universe hands them a mirror. And it's not pretty. The end.